Hello, beautiful souls. It's Kerry, and I'm here with a full moon forecast for the full moon in Gemini, which takes place on the 5th of December, Adelaide time, 9:45 a.m. So that'll be just around the midnight mark on the 4th of December in the Northern Hemisphere, like in London and around those areas. Just need to adjust it for your place in the world. And what we have is we have a grand cross between the Sun and the Moon, and the north and south nodes. So this is a turning point. It's really important, a really important turning point. And we have Neptune at the 30th degree of Pisces, which is like the anaretic degree. So that's a critical point as well. Neptune's about our spirituality and our sense of the soul. So this is a very spiritual full moon, even though it's in the sign of Gemini, which is what we would normally associate with communication. But we have to remember that Mercury, the symbol for Gemini, the ruler of Gemini, is about communication, but it's also about the angelic realm, or the airwaves. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. And the Sabian symbol associated with the 14th degree of Gemini, which is associated with this full moon, is two people communicating telepathically through time and space. So we're going to bring in here things like soul contracts. We're going to bring in ideas here like twin souls, twin flames, because we can make these connections with others that come across our path. And we are here to do work. We're here on a soul journey, and we have karma that we are erasing. We are healing that we are seeking and bringing to others. And so there's something here important about not just this lifetime, but previous lifetimes. So I'm going to emphasize that. This is a time of release, and it's a time of release of old soul contracts and old trauma patterns that have been inherited within family lines, okay? Now, we can take our minds back through the history books to thousands of years before Christ. So if we go back to the pyramids, for example, or I'm from Ireland, and we can go back to Newgrange, which is an astronomical tomb, which predates the pyramids by about 2,000 or 3,000 years. And this is an astronomical tomb which aligns with the movement of the sun. And on the midwinter solstice, the rays of the sun come through this little shaft. I've been in there. It's an initiation chamber. And then that marks the solstice, the midwinter solstice. So a pre-Christian culture, predating the pyramids by a couple of thousand years, had the intellectual capacity and the technology to create this monstrously big astronomical tomb made out of stones. It's leak-proof. It's been there for 6,000 years, and it's quite astonishing. So when we think about things like the pyramids, and we think about things like Stonehenge or Newgrange, and there's lots of others around the world. I'm not an archaeologist, but you can certainly Google all the different monuments that are around the world that have been built by cultures and civilizations that had technology beyond what we've developed, even though modern people tend to think they're at the pinnacle of development and intelligence. But if you've done any research or investigation into ancient cultures, you'll see that we are coming out of a dark age in actuality. So this full moon, we want to be letting go of anything that no longer serves us. Yes, that's a bit of a trite thing to say. People just say that. They talk about the full moon as if they're an authority on something, and they just go, it's a good time to let go of things. Yes, well, thank you for sharing your great wisdom. What is that actually going to give you in a practical kind of sense? So we're looking here at the moon, and you'll see it's at the 13th degree here of Gemini, 1303, and opposite is the sun, and that's at 1303 as well. The sun and the moon, they are always opposite each other at a full moon. And because the moon is in Gemini, it means the sun is therefore in Sagittarius, which is the seeker. Okay, that's and this is about the ancient knowledge that I was talking about, the pyramids, etc., the monuments, the proof that they were civilizations that were highly advanced in the past. And so where did they get that knowledge? You have to wonder, don't you? Because we tend to think that we have built a knowledge bank and that we are therefore the most advanced and civilized, which clearly is not the case. So down here we have the nodes. Over here we have the north node. That's the direction we're going in. And that's in the sign of Pisces. And this is about putting your best foot forward. Putting yourself out as someone with something to give, all right? Something to contribute. Over here we have the south node, and that's in the sign of Virgo. And that's also at the 13th degree there. You see that? That's the Virgo north node is 1343. And the Pisces north node is 1343 as well. So we've got this, what's called a grand cross. It's in mutable signs. So we've got Sagittarius, Gemini, and then we've got Virgo and Pisces. So these are what's called the mutable signs. They're the signs that change and are flexible. They're not so fixed and they're not so kind of impulsive as the cardinal and fixed signs. So Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune's at the 30th degree of Pisces, which is it's like the final opportunity to have your lessons. Okay, we're embodied souls. We're here on a spiritual journey. We're in these bodies. The body is the temple. It helps us get through the life experience. We need to look after it. We need to nurture it. We need to make sure that we give it its best possibility to make our journey as productive and fruitful as possible. If you trash your body and end up really unwell, then you're going to limit the possibilities that are there for you with your life. So you want to look after your body as much as possible. Good diet, drinking as much water as possible, being around nature, being around natural things. Okay, so Mercury rules this full moon because Mercury rules Gemini. And Mercury is the planet called the messenger god. So we're talking about the messenger realm, the airwaves. So this is a good time to recognize communication that comes to you where you've had perhaps soul contracts or past connection, relationships with others, where you still continue to feel their presence. You still continue to feel them, let's say, drawing light from you, because when a person can't let you go, it's because they're still trying to feed off your energy. And that, you know, it sounds like a parasitic type of thing, but it does happen. And it happens to a lot of empaths who attract those kind of darker personalities who can't generate their own light. And so they're constantly seeking a source of light from the people they interact with. And they'll put on a performance. They'll make you think that they are just the best thing since sliced bread. So now is the time you want to be releasing those, getting rid of them. So cutting energetic cords, and you can do that by calling in Archangel Michael. He's from the angelic realm. Ask him to eliminate any cords, seen or unseen, between yourself and the person or people or group or tribe or culture or whatever it is you want freedom from. You ask Archangel Michael to bring in his legion of angels to assist with the severing of any energetic cords no longer serving your highest good. And we want to do that on all levels, all dimensions, all timelines. And so you're free to move forward then without, what shall we say? I'm thinking about like a wedding car where you have all the noisy cans dragging behind. So if you think about that on an energetic level, that kind of thing where there are kind of things, barnacles on you, which represent a parasitic kind of relationship. So we want to give any unforgiveness to God, to our God, and we want to release and let go as much as we possibly can at this time because once the outer planets Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, Pluto is currently moving direct. Neptune and Uranus and Saturn, no, Saturn's moving direct. Once they start to move direct, they will move back into the next sign. So Neptune's out of the mutable sign of Pisces, and next year it will be back into Aries. So it's all systems go. All right. Aries is about the I am. So recognizing you're here, you've got this body, you've got to make the most of it, and it's like a big awakening, wakening up to the fact that you're here for more than just waiting for your body to decay and die and get buried in the ground. So do your best work, people, and if you want assistance with your spiritual journey, perhaps have a look through some of my earlier recordings, but also my number one tip to people would be, well, who's your God? And people say, well, I'm not sure who, I don't know if I believe in God. I believe in the universe. Okay, all right, well, something created you and me and everything. All of this that's here, which we might refer to as the universe, you could call that God if that suits you, if that sits right with you. But you've got to work it out first, because it's a little bit like having a phone but not knowing who to call. And well, there's an endless array of people in the world you could potentially call. But you've got to make sure that that connection that you're making to God, to your I am, okay? So you say I am, and you say your name, and I wish to make connection to my Creator and my guide, my protector, and then hopefully you'll get onto the right frequency. All right, darlings, that's all I'm going to say. So 5th of December, 9:45 a.m. Adelaide time, full moon Gemini, and I think there was just one more thing I wanted to add in. So we've got, no, I think I've covered it all. There's a few Sabian symbols there, and they're all the planets that are at the 13th degree, but we always round the Sabian symbol up to the next degree, which brings it up to the 14th. And so we've got the family tree involved, we've got people communicating, two people communicating and having a telepathic connection. We've got the vast arena of the pyramids and the monuments as evidence of older advanced civilizations. And then we've got the woman wrapped in the fox fur. So this is the Pisces 14. This is about having an allure of prestige about you. And, the fox furs, when they were in vogue, were seen as someone with class, with a bit of money, the ability to impress others. So we don't want to be too impressed with material things these days. What people will start to see is of value is the soul, okay, and the state of the soul. All right, darlings, I hope you found that useful. Have a happy full moon. You can do a little ritual. You might want to write down all the things that you are still holding on to and that weigh on your heart. Forgive yourself and let them go. Honestly, seriously, it's not worth the mental anguish that some people just really struggle to let go. They struggle to forgive themselves. You did the best you could at the time, and that's all that matters. All right, happy full moon. Take care, lovelies.